Hi, I'm Rosemary Lee. I'm a choreographer and filmmaker, and I've been making work for about 4 decades now. So I have 2 strands, I guess, to my practice. I work in film and I work in live work, and I mostly make site-specific work, and that's been the case for 3 decades now. I like working outdoors. I'm really interested in place and our relationship to place, and how bringing movement and dance to a place, how does that engage the public in a different way with their locality and with dance. I also work with communities and non-professionals and professionals and dancers of all ages. Everyone's a dancer. And I love bringing together people who've had lots of training and people who've had none. And I'm really interested in what I can offer the participants and the audience in terms of a kind of somatic, engaging practice that really frees them in some way. And also, I want the audience to feel as if they could be there. There's no difference between them and the people they're watching. It is about humanity. So, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to do is create quite intimate work, nuanced, I hope, in outdoor sites. And then with film allows me to actually have much more control. And I realised working with children, say when I was working in theatres at the South Bank, it dawned on me that no one could see their little eyelashes or their fingernails in the back row. And the only way I could give them that beauty was to bring projection on stage and go into that detail. So for me, working with the camera means that I can be more of the choreographer I want to be through the edit, but also it allows me to reach really different audiences and go to very, very different sites. So remote places where I wouldn't want to bring an audience because it would spoil the remoteness. So I can take a single performer to a deserted beach and film them there and bring that kind of aloneness to the screen. So I started making film in the late 80s, and I've just made my last one 2 years ago. So it's been dotted through my career, going from film to live and back to film. I guess this sounds really idealistic, but I really kind of feel as an artist that what I want to do is offer something. I want to give a gift. So one of the reasons I moved outside was because I felt if I'm rehearsing outdoors, it's free. People can just pass it and glean a little moment of something. And where possible, I offer it for free if it's possible with the venues and the commissioners. And it feels to me like that's the thing we need to hold on to, that art is a gift for individuals and for society in general. And I really feel privileged to be able to offer those gifts. Also, when I'm working with participants who are performing with me, I'm also trying to offer something that they might be able to keep for the rest of their lives, not just a memory of something. I'm not really interested in the adrenaline rush of performance. I'm interested in something a little bit more long-lasting, which might be something about acceptance of themselves and others, staying open. What excites me about dance in general is that it's a silent art form. I know words do come into it, but there's something really beautiful in this kind of world of too many words. There's something about dance that is a little bit more honest, and I love the silence of it. I love the fact we don't need to use words to communicate. It's a beautiful part of humanity that is so undervalued, and we have to fight for that, I think. But also, to be a really great dancer, it's not only about your individual dancing, it's about how you dance with others. And what I see time and time again when I'm working with people is how beautiful it is to watch people cooperate together, how they have to compromise, how they listen, how they work out when they're going to suggest something, when they're not, how to get to come together in a common endeavour in a cooperative way is so beautiful, and also such a gift for how we live our lives, societally and individually. There's no getting away from it. It's a really hard time for the performing arts and the arts in general, not just dance. But from our specialism in dance, it's just heartbreaking for me to see my younger colleagues and my older colleagues really suffering because so many courses have been closed and are being closed. And generally, the British society and government is not supporting the arts in the way they need to. Let's face it, the arts are absolute necessity to life. They're not a luxury, they're a necessity. And I do feel more hopeful. I feel a little bit more relaxed over the last few weeks because I feel as if there's a crack there that we can flow into in order to keep the momentum that the arts are necessary to life. And although I don't like only talking about the arts being instrumental to life being better and to well-being and to all those things, we can't get away from them, the arts making our lives much richer and therefore much better. So it's a no-brainer to me that we must keep active in fighting for the arts to exist and to flourish in this country. The advice I'd give to any artist, I think, including dance artists, would be to not be swayed by the mainstream if the mainstream isn't where you want to be. And sometimes that feels like you're swimming against the tide. Sometimes it feels like you're super uncool because you're not trending and you're not, the coolest thing. But in my experience, though that was really hard when I was younger and I lost confidence a lot and there was a lot of self-doubt, I still knew I couldn't do that because it wasn't true to what I really wanted to do, however uncool what I really wanted to do was. So think about what it is you deeply want to do and what you want to offer and who you want to offer it to, and find ways to do that if you can. I know it's super hard, but even the smallest audience, one person in their living room, they're the right audience. So one audience or thousands is the same on some level. When I first started making work in the early 80s, it wasn't possible, I would have said, to have children and elders and less trained dancers on a mainstream stage like the Place. And I think it was in 1988 when I made Egg Dances, I finally brought an intergenerational cast onto the stage at the Place. And that felt like a really big milestone, but that had taken a long time to get there and to kind of steadily try to keep suggesting that there was another way to look at dance and there was another way to look at people on stage and another audience, and that's what I kept pushing for, but it wasn't easy. Now it's become much more accepted. It is accepted that there are dancers of all ages on lots of different stages with lots of different kinds of choreographers. So I guess it just goes to show that although it may seem like it's taking a long time, things do shift. And to just trust that it will happen eventually. If you feel it's really the right thing, then just keep making steps towards that. Try not to lose heart. That's the main thing. Try not to lose heart.